Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your June forecast for Leo Sun, Leo Rising, and Leo Moon. So you are represented by the Wheel of Fortune and the Moon. So for some of you, there may be a tie to a Pisces or a Cancer person. If not, there's something going on where there's been a change of fortune, for better or for worse. Maybe there's some rapid improvements. Maybe you're taking a risk. There's some kind of opportunity on the horizon. And it may tie to money or change or the future. So, or it could tie, something on the mundane, an actual form of transportation, a tire, a car. But there's some change in the air that feels rather faded. And while it does feel faded, it's definite that you had a hand in how things are playing out, whether you realize it or not. So there's some issues that were sort of hanging in limbo. They were unresolved. And now things have started to roll. Something that you did or said is changing the karma, the immediate course of action based on your behavior, something that you recently did. Now, for some of you, if you are dealing with something financial, you're having to pull on your emotional resolve to come up with some answers. Or if you're dealing with something emotional that requires you invest financially, you may decide that you're prepared to do that. So the ante has gone up. You're willing to step up your game. And so you're taking charge of a situation to make some changes that are perhaps overdue. And if up until this point something hasn't gone as you had hoped or expected or caught you off guard, it could have been a blessing in disguise that something didn't go your way. Because there is an element of luck running through your situation that you may fail to ignore. It could be something small, something insignificant, and yet it is there. The thread of fate is working for you. But you also have this Moon card. So there's something that you're not seeing, something that is hidden, either that you're keeping secret or somebody's keeping a secret from you, but that is likely to be revealed. Something may come out into the open. Now, there are issues for you that are very emotional right now. You may feel out of sync with your partner. There could be some change that's happening where things are in flux. Nothing is really settled, whether you're dealing with opportunity or you're dealing with challenges. Your emotions, your finances, everything seems to be very convoluted, very tied together. So you may be trying to grapple with your emotions. And maybe you get to have some kind of emotional or psychological breakthrough as a result. It's important that you are vigilant in trying to get to the bottom of a situation rather than trying to escape the truth or avoid something. So this is about your persistence to get emotionally involved. And for some of you, whatever this situation is, this sudden change, this faded event, you may feel unsettled. You may feel very stressed. You may have this growing intuition that you're going to hear some bad news. And it may connect to somebody that you love, that you care about. Something is gnawing at you and it's starting to wear on you physically. It may be affecting you through some kind of mysterious illness or a rash, or if you're a woman, it could be your reproductive organs, your cycle. Something may be off right now and it's directly related to your stress level. Now, again, there could be a lot of projection taking place with regard to a situation. You're having to look at the past, old childhood patterns, past conditioning, ways of being that perhaps may not serve you as an adult. So there's some change taking place. It's important that you don't allow whatever you're dealing with to overwhelm you. In fact, this is a period where you probably need to find something to distract yourself so that you can regain your peace of mind. Get away from your problems, put them aside so that you're not taking it out on your partner. It could be a period where you're very focused on protection, your security, what provides that sense of safety, either you looking out for someone else or them being very protective of you. And also there, this is strongly indicating some form of travel. So there's movement emotionally or physically, and you're trying to get the attainment of something, some kind of success. So there's been a change of fortune, maybe based on some being out of sync with somebody, perhaps issues of deception, whether either somebody was trying to pull the wool over your eyes or you were deceiving yourself. And it may center around seduction. What are you seduced by? Maybe you're seduced by travel, or maybe you're seduced by another person, or you're trying to figure out and sort through issues where, is your partner faithful? Are you being faithful to your partner? So there's some issue about either one of you being seduced by something outside of your relationship. Now, your partner is represented by the Queen of Swords. So for some of you, you are tied to a Gemini, a Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this queen are important. Now, your partner, is facing the opposite direction. She may be angry about something, maybe some past disappointments, and she may be, putting her back to you because love has to make sense to this person. And, this is somebody that, they may have reached a point where now they're almost bitchy. They're very sarcastic. Positively, this is somebody who's very intelligent, very opinionated. They usually know how to use words. They usually know how to, use tact to get their point across. But if they're angry, if they feel that they have been betrayed, they can become very vengeful. So your partner may be making some important decisions or seeking some kind of advice or counsel, perhaps through an attorney or an advisor of some sort. This is somebody who can easily hold her own. So your partner doesn't want to be kept. They don't want to be on the side. They want to be treated as an equal because they are quite capable of sustaining themselves and holding their own. Now, your partner may also be experiencing some kind of hardship. This could be an illness. It could be financial hardship. It could be some form of betrayal. You may be in the throes of a separation or a divorce. Maybe the communication has been cut off. It could be that maybe, your partner was very determined to get your attention, get your affection, and to the point that she or he misrepresented themselves, or maybe they see that as you, that you haven't been on the up and up. It could be that you connected with your partner for the wrong reasons. You don't really have common goals, common interests, common values. You just both came from a bad place. You're sharing emotional disappointments and feeling as if that is the foundation for a relationship. For some of you, it could be that your partner was simply looking at the conquest. You were a feather in this person's cap, or vice versa. Now, there are also some discussions that are taking place, maybe very pointed discussions, getting to the truth of some things, getting some clarity. And maybe they connect to the future. Where are we headed with this relationship? We need to get down to brass tacks. Because before we can get to point B, we got to figure out where we are with A. So that means if there's a destination point, what do we have to do? What are the responsibilities, the obligations? It may involve moving. It may involve perhaps 3 people, whether you want to align. Maybe there's some interference or a third party is needed. It may tie to some form of transaction, but it could also be that somebody seized the moment, the opportunity. They slid in the space before you could get there. So there's some important discussions about the future. And this queen, again, things have to make sense. So she's being very practical, very analytical, maybe to the point that your partner's being overly analytical. Or now they don't even want to listen to you. They're looking off into the future and where they're headed. So this Queen of Swords, again, she's basing her decisions on some past disappointments that she does not want a repeat of. Again, that could be your partner, or that could be you. You are going to be able to use your intellect, your intuition to make some good decisions, to transform your way of thinking, to create change in your situation. You're going to be able to avert some kind of disaster or impending challenge by making a good decision, and it's going to feel like right before you hit that wall. Now, your romance is characterized by the 10 of coins and the 5 of swords. So there is a history here, perhaps of betrayal, of you or the partner not listening to advice. You may feel betrayed in some way. Somebody is focused on self. What they want, it's my way or the highway. We're going to do it like this. Somebody's being very controlling. And again, you have the moon. So there could be some issue of deception or betrayal, some kind of treachery taking place. Somebody may be very competitive. It's a win at all cost for whatever the price. Forget the casualties. I'm going to get what I want. And it may tie to property, assets, money, wealth. Maybe this is family money, or maybe this connects to some kind of legacy like a will or an inheritance. There could be issues, where you're having marital difficulties, problems with the children, parental concerns. You feel like this is a no-win situation. And in spite of going over everything, there's likely some mistake, some error, something that has fallen through the cracks, some misjudgment, some mistake that is going to come back and bite one of you. And you may feel like you're going in circles, either trying to start something or end it. And if there's some disagreements, maybe those get very ugly. So this is about trying to set up something that would give you security in the now and into the future, some sense of permanence. And thus far, you've been going in circles. You may be dealing with things that tie to investment or wealth, large corporations, maybe it's the government, large companies, whatever it is, you've been having a hard time. And there's something that you are enchanted with, but again, it appears to be a no-win situation. You keep meeting with a dead end. So, you get involved perhaps in this relationship concerning certain issues. You seem to be moving ahead, and then suddenly there's a closed door. You may be going over and over and over without ever being able to come to some kind of resolution. Maybe things feel like they're moving forward, and then again, the door slams in your face. You meet with a dead end. So that's what the relationship feels like. Now, the problem is this High Priestess and the 10 of Swords. So there could be some decisions about betrayal, maybe issues where somebody's been talking about you behind your back, or you've been doing that. There could be this decision about whether somebody has been victimized or abused. Some of you, maybe you're dealing with some kind of serious illness or loss. So you may feel like you're pinned to a situation, or your partner does, and you're having to make some important decisions. Once again, there's something going on behind the scenes that you're unaware of. And so somebody may be holding a secret, or somebody has some information available that you need. And this is the problem area. So there's a sense of victimization. Either it's really happening, or either one of you has the perception of that, and that has become a crippling issue. So this is about, if this is a mindset, taking on a victim mentality, then one of you is going to have to make a decision to get up and do what's necessary to move forward. It's likely that there's some reconstruction taking place in your relationship. You're making some important decisions. You're reevaluating something between you and your partner or another person. Some promise that was made, or a goal, or an objective, or a desire, or a belief. And again, maybe there are a lot of projections or idealism that leaves you feeling flat. So it could be that not a whole lot is moving forward, and that's creating anxiety, or there's so much going on that you almost feel trampled by circumstances. There's some kind of opportunity. Maybe there's a decision to end a negative situation. Something is on the horizon that looks really good, but you're really going to have to trust your intuition to guide you about whether this opportunity is indeed appropriate for you. What is it going to cost you? And you're going to have to know the difference between, your intuition and just your mood. What's prompting you to make a decision? Maybe you're being overly analytical, or you're not trusting your intuition. It could be, if there's some deception, somebody's trying to get over and create an environment or a situation that's really better for them. Now, you could be doing that, or your partner could be doing that. But whatever it is, there's some kind of falsity, a false friend, a liar, an opportunist. Maybe you're making some decisions about whether somebody is. You're trying to get to the root of something that has been false, a false friend, a false opportunity, somebody with an ulterior agenda, a hidden motive, and somebody that may be acting like they have their best interest, your best interest at heart, when in fact they do not. So it could be centered around trying to resurrect some kind of relationship, a partnership. Maybe there was falsity in this partnership. Maybe somebody pretended that they wanted to resurrect it. Or perhaps you're having to reconnect to somebody due to some circumstances that contain an element of falsity in them. Now, the underlying influence is this Nine of Swords. So you feel some anxiety about a situation. You're worried. There could be some remorse, some regret, some actual illness where somebody is suffering emotionally or physically. So you're worried about somebody, and you're going over a situation. Perhaps it didn't play out the way you wanted it to. Maybe you were cut off, or you met with a dead end, or you couldn't get something going. And so you feel like, what if I had done A or B or C, perhaps I would have gotten better results. So you may be beating yourself up. But it could be that these are some unfounded fears, some irrational anxiety that's just cropping up that you have to address. So something about your situation you can't see clearly. And again, you're going to have to be vigilant. Perhaps there are other options that you're not considering because your pride won't allow you to do something, or based on principle, which may not even be your own principle. Perhaps it's past conditioning. You've decided you can't do something, or maybe you just fail to see the appropriate option, but there's something there. Now, part of your issue with the partner could be this friction that's caused by you trying to impose your will upon that person. You think that they should be making choice A, B, and C, and they say, no, I'm going with D, E, and F. That suits me better. And you feel like it's a mistake, and it creates some conflict. This is about, in spite of whether you feel you know best or vice versa, each of you are going to have to make your own choices, because that's what you're here for. So you're trying to keep some kind of emotional balance about what's going on, whether that's an illness you're suffering, someone close to you is. You're trying to maintain balance, maybe with something that you're having to juggle. Now, you could be anxious about something. Again, there could be some fortuitous stroke of luck that occurs for you, some unexpected encounter or surprise, something that you were trying to manifest actually happens, a wish fulfillment. Now, maybe you're anxious for that to happen. It hasn't happened yet. You're looking at your options. Or, sometimes we get nervous about success when it happens. Maybe, you are worried about whether you're prepared for it. Now, the advice card is, I have come full circle to realize that I complete me. So again, some of you may have dealt with an issue that had the seed of seduction within it. Maybe you were wondering if your partner was faithful. Either of you could have decided, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm looking toward the future. Maybe you tried to come to a consensus, but you met with a dead end. And you're looking at, whether you actually want to resurrect a partnership or not. Because you're starting to realize your own value, your own worth, that you complete you. And while having a partner may be a wonderful addition, you are the main star. So having this fresh perspective, again, is your ticket to success. How you think, how you behave, the decisions you make determine your level of success with regard to a relationship or moving on your own. So now the outcome is the Eight of Wands and the Chariot. So you have, even though you have this dead-end card, you have a lot of things that suggest there's change in the air and some kind of movement. You may be very, very focused on a goal. It could have to do with communication, may have to do with travel, could be air travel. It appears that something is now manifesting quickly. Some of you, maybe you're falling in love. Maybe this has to do with a Cancer person, or maybe it has to do with travel. It's likely that something about your circumstances is going to tie to communication or travel or seeking adventure or something romantic, something unusual and out of the ordinary. So for some of you, again, something is happening very quickly. Any kind of blockage that you had experienced thus far is now going to be removed. And so you may have to, rush to push something out there, to launch something, to get something going in connection with your partner or some goal that you have. Or you're feeling overwhelmed. Somebody's being very forceful. Maybe one of you is willing to run over the other one to meet an objective, and now you feel trampled upon. You're having to hurry up and get with the program, and perhaps you're not ready to do so. The Chariot card says you're going to have to work with your partner. Synergy is the key. You can't be apathetic. You can't be insensitive to the needs of the other person. This is a team effort, and you're going to have to be very focused and concentrated on the goal at hand. Because something about your situation is going to draw up a lot of emotion. In fact, you may even feel anger. So for some of you, you're going to have to curb your impulses. You're going to have to rein in any feeling of some knee-jerk response or blurting something out or getting angry. This is about having patience, because you may deal with some kind of delay or miscommunication of some sort, and you're having to rush to deal with something. So it's important that you're not reckless. In fact, be careful of driving too fast, because that could be an issue, something in connection to actual transportation. But something is moving forward. You're having a strong impact on your partner, your moods, how you feel, your attitude, or vice versa. So it's important to, again, get in touch with those emotions. Try to remain emotionally balanced. Don't misconstrue intuition, with emotion. You're going to have to be objective and focused to make your decisions, because something is going to come to light. Some revelation, something is going to be revealed when you pull that curtain back that allows you to have a reconciliation. You're going to be making some peace with your partner over some past hurts, or you're going to be reconnecting with someone from your past. You're going to, work through some terms or some issues so that both of you can feel better. Now, you have 4 major cards. That's quite a bit. This could be a very emotionally or spiritually significant month for you. The wheel says, of course, have that fresh perspective, be confident, but don't be reckless. Take a calculated risk. You may need to gamble to make something happen, but you need to know what the odds are. You have the Moon card, which again says deal with your shadow self, your psychological issues, the emotional issues of others. Step back from your emotions if need be. Protect your security. Be vigilant in getting to the truth of something, and try not to be escapist or avoid dealing with necessary issues. You have the High Priestess. Get some advice or listen to your own intuition. Reevaluate where you're headed and is it still valid. and the Chariot, which says you have to stay focused, you have to keep what you're doing in mind, not be reckless, and you're going to have to do it as a team player. This may be reconciling some differences, conflict you have with others, conflict you have with self, and again, trying to grapple between the shadow and the light. But you're trying to figure out what to do. It may not be a lot of communication or activity or movement at this time. You're trying to figure out what your next move is. Now, for some of you, it may mean that you're actually dealing with an illness that's keeping you, on a plateau. So you're trying to recover, recuperate, either physically, emotionally. Maybe you're going within spiritually. So you are withdrawing to figure out what to do, which is fine. But you don't want to bury your head in the sand. And you're doing this review of some kind of opportunity, whatever that is. You may be going over your finances, a job offer, relocating, joining forces with somebody, getting to the truth of something. If there have been some accusations or some deceptions, driving your point home or cleaning up your reputation. But you are going to have to trust yourself, your instincts, and rely on fact. This is not a time for you to make assumptions about things. Know what, dot the I's, cross the T's. Now, this is a love reading, but you have no cups. So even though the moon is there, your lessons are connected to that moon because that's a major card. But you don't have any cups. So something about this situation means that somebody's being insensitive. There's been some coldness, aloofness, and again, maybe not a whole lot of communication or not communication with a lot of warmth anyway. And it could also mean, though, that you are taking on this Queen of Swords mentality, or your partner is, and this is all about business. I am through with the emotional disappointment, and now I'm going to handle things in a much better way. We're going to be logical about this situation. You have a number of indications that says that you're dealing with some conclusions regarding people and property. And there are questions from the past that have sway over the present circumstances. There could be some delays. There's some decisions that have to be made, but they can't be rushed. So for you, this is going to be a challenging month where there are some changes in the plan, in the program. And it connects to your attachments to things, to people, and whether those increase or decrease. Are you getting something reciprocated? Are you allowing the need to be with somebody drive your decisions and, misconstrue your perception? It's about closure so that you can start a new beginning. It also ties to opportunities that have the potential to be life-changing, that weigh in on your destiny, on the future, and people that are connected to that. And your partnerships, agreements, contracts. How are you connecting with others? And how are you letting them, possibly take your power away? Or how are you allowing yourself to be dealt with? So, you have this, I have come full circle. The stronger you feel about yourself, the more likely you will be able to negotiate in ways that serve you rather than undermine you. All right, Leo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to hit that notify bell, and let's make some positive change in your relationship. Let's create a love revolution.